Most men think fingering is about speed, intensity, or some secret trick. But here's the truth. When it comes to a woman's body, going slower isn't just better. It's the real secret to unlocking deeper pleasure, intimacy, and connection. And today I'm going to show you exactly how. Before we get into it, make sure you hit that subscribe button to my channel where I share doctor-backed insights on intimacy, sexual health, and the science of attraction. Now in this video, I'm going to break down something I call the Y.O.N.I approach, a step-by-step framework that helps men understand how to touch a woman the right way. We'll cover why slow is scientifically superior for female arousal, the Y.O.N.I framework, what each letter stands for, and how to apply it, common mistakes men make when fingering that actually turn women off, and finally, how slow touch builds not just pleasure, but also trust, relaxation, and emotional intimacy. So, if you've ever wondered whether you're doing it the right way, or if you want to move beyond just performance into truly connecting with your partner, this video is for you. Why this topic matters. When it comes to intimacy, most men grow up with a very distorted idea of what women want. Movies, adult content, and even locker room talk often paint a picture that women crave fast, aggressive, or purely penetrative stimulation. But in reality, that's not how the female body is designed to respond. And this is exactly why this conversation matters. Because slowing down, especially with something as intimate as fingering, is not just a technique. It's a shift in understanding her physiology and psychology. You see, the female anatomy is filled with an extraordinary number of nerve endings, particularly in and around the clitoral network. These nerves don't just respond to pressure. They respond to anticipation, rhythm, and gentle buildup. When stimulation happens too quickly, the body doesn't have time to increase blood flow, relax the muscles, or produce natural lubrication. In other words, rushing often leads to discomfort rather than pleasure. But here's the bigger point. Intimacy isn't just about mechanics. It's about connection. Many women report that what excites them most is not what their partner does, but how their partner makes them feel while doing it. Slow, intentional touch communicates patience, respect, and presence. Qualities that build trust and safety. And trust, from a biological perspective, is what allows the brain to release oxytocin and dopamine, two powerful chemicals that heighten arousal and deepen emotional bonding. Think of it this way. If a man approaches intimacy as a checklist or a performance, the woman's body often shuts down. But if he approaches it as an experience to be savored together, her body opens up naturally. That's why the Y.O.N.I approach, which we'll dive into shortly, is so important. It's not just about touching her body. It's about understanding her body and honoring her pace. So why does this matter? Because too many couples experience unnecessary frustration, miscommunication, and even self-doubt in the bedroom. And much of it can be solved by one simple shift: slowing down. As a urologist, I can tell you pleasure, blood flow, and overall sexual health are closely tied to patience and presence. The slower you go, the more in tune you become with her signals, and the more satisfying the experience is for both of you. This isn't just about technique. It's about redefining intimacy, and that's exactly what we're about to explore in this video. The Y.O.N.I approach framework breakdown. Now let's get into the heart of this video, the Y.O.N.I approach. I developed this framework to give men a clear, simple, and respectful way of thinking about slow fingering. Not as a trick, but as a holistic approach that combines anatomy, psychology, and intimacy. Y.O.N.I isn't just a word. It's an acronym that stands for Y. Yield to her pace. O, observe her responses. Nurture the connection. I integrate pleasure gradually. Let's break this down step by step. Y. Yield to her pace. The first mistake many men make is thinking intimacy is about their timing. In reality, women's bodies often need more time to warm up, both physically and mentally. Yielding to her pace means slowing down, respecting her signals, and letting her arousal guide the rhythm. Biologically, this allows blood to flow to the vaginal tissues, the clitoral network to swell, and lubrication to naturally increase. Without this phase, many women feel discomfort, or disconnection. Yielding isn't about doing less, it's about creating space for her body to respond. Oh, observe her responses. Here's where real intimacy begins. Every woman's body responds differently. Some prefer lighter touch, some deeper pressure, some more circular or side-to-side movements. By observing her breathing, subtle movements, or even sounds, you can tell what feels good for her without her needing to say a word. As a urologist, I can tell you the female nervous system gives away clear signals of arousal, muscle relaxation, increased warmth, and rhythmic contractions. If you learn to pay attention, her body will teach you how to touch her. Nurture the connection. This step is often overlooked. Fingering is not just a mechanical act. It's a chance to build trust and emotional intimacy. That means using your other hand to caress, maintaining eye contact if it feels comfortable, or even whispering reassurance. When a woman feels emotionally safe, her brain releases oxytocin, which deepens arousal and increases sensitivity. Nurturing is about making her feel cherished, not just touched. Remember, for women, intimacy is as much about the heart as it is about the body. I integrate pleasure gradually. Finally, once you've yielded, observed, and nurtured, it's time to build intensity slowly. Integration means layering different types of touch, gentle strokes, circular motions, deeper exploration without overwhelming her body. Think of it as building a song. You don't start with the chorus, you build up from the intro. When done properly, gradual integration doesn't just lead to stronger orgasms. It creates a sense of flow where her pleasure feels natural and unforced. So the Y.O.N.I approach isn't about memorizing steps. It's about embodying a mindset, patience, presence, and respect. When you use this framework, fingering stops being a rushed act and becomes an intimate experience that truly honors her body. Common mistakes men make. Now that you understand the Y.O.N.I framework, let's take a moment to address the most common mistakes men make when fingering, and more importantly, how to avoid them. Because if you're not aware of these pitfalls, even the best intentions can backfire. Mistake number 1, rushing the process. The number 1 error is going too fast too soon. Many men jump straight into penetration without warming up the body first. This often leads to discomfort, dryness, and even resentment. The fix: slow down. Begin with external touch, the thighs, hips, lower belly, even gentle strokes around the vulva before moving inside. Think of it like stretching before exercise. The warm-up makes everything smoother and more enjoyable. Mistake number 2, ignoring communication. Too many men assume they know what women want without ever asking or listening. The truth is, every woman's body responds differently. Some may prefer firmer touch, others softer. Some like steady rhythm, others variety. The fix: combine verbal and nonverbal feedback. Ask simple, confident questions like, "Do you like this pressure?" Or "Do you want me to go slower?" And then pay attention to her body language, breathing patterns, sounds, or even subtle movements. Mistake number 3, treating it like a performance. A lot of men approach fingering like a competition, thinking the goal is to make her orgasm fast or prove their skill. But here's the thing, intimacy is not a race, and treating it like one puts unnecessary pressure on both of you. The fix: focus on the journey, not the destination. Relax into the moment and enjoy discovering what makes her feel good. Ironically, when you take the pressure off the orgasm, it usually happens more naturally and intensely. Mistake number 4, neglecting the rest of her body. Another common mistake is isolating fingering as if the rest of her body doesn't exist. The truth is, pleasure is holistic. The brain integrates touch from everywhere. And the more connected she feels overall, the more sensitive her intimate areas become. The fix? Multitask with intention. Use your other hand to caress her breasts, neck, or thighs. Whisper affirmations. Maintain presence and let her feel that your focus is on her as a whole person, not just one body part. Avoiding these mistakes is just as important as learning techniques. When you remove rushing, silence, performance pressure, and narrow focus, what's left is presence, communication, and connection. The exact qualities that make the Y.O.N.I approach so powerful. the science of slow touch. So why does slow touch work so much better than rushing? The answer lies in the incredible design of the female body and the way the brain and nervous system process pleasure. Once you understand the science, it becomes clear that slowing down isn't just nice, it's biologically essential. 1. Nerve endings and sensory overload. The female genital region, particularly the clitoral network, is one of the most nerve-dense areas in the human body. It contains more than 8,000 nerve endings, and many of these connect to broader networks inside the pelvis. When stimulation is too fast or aggressive, these nerves get overstimulated. Instead of creating pleasure, this causes discomfort or even numbness. Slow touch, on the other hand, allows the nerves to gradually wake up and send clear, pleasurable signals to the brain without overwhelming the system. 2. Blood flow and arousal response. From a medical perspective, arousal is a vascular event. Just like an erection in men depends on increased blood flow, female arousal requires engorgement of the clitoris, labia, and vaginal walls. This process takes time. Slow fingering allows blood vessels to dilate gradually, leading to warmth, swelling, and natural lubrication. Rushing skips this step, which is why many women experience dryness or discomfort when their partner is too quick. 3. Hormones and trust chemistry. There's also a hormonal reason slow touch works. The brain releases oxytocin, the bonding hormone, in response to gentle, consistent, and affectionate touch. Oxytocin not only deepens trust and emotional intimacy, but also amplifies sensitivity to pleasure. Meanwhile, dopamine, the brain's reward chemical, builds in response to anticipation. When you go slow, you prolong this anticipation, creating a stronger and more satisfying release later. In short, patience literally rewires the brain for better pleasure. 4. The relaxation-arousal paradox. Here's an interesting paradox. In order for a woman to reach peak arousal, she first needs to feel deeply relaxed. Stress, anxiety, or pressure all work against arousal because they activate the sympathetic nervous system, the fight or flight mode. Slow, mindful fingering communicates safety and care, which activates the parasympathetic nervous system, the body's rest and digest mode. Only in this relaxed state can arousal fully bloom. 5. Psychology of anticipation. Finally, there's the psychological side. Human beings are wired to find anticipation pleasurable. The slower you build, the more her mind has time to imagine, expect, and crave what's coming next. This isn't just foreplay, it's mental priming, and it can make the final experience far more intense. So, when you combine nerves, blood flow, hormones, relaxation, and psychology, the science is crystal clear. Slow touch works with the body, not against it. It creates a state where pleasure is amplified naturally. Intimacy is deepened, and the entire experience becomes not just physical, but profoundly emotional. Practical how-to-guided steps. All right? Now that we've explored the science and the Y.O.N.I framework, let's put this into practice. Think of this section as a guided roadmap, a sequence of steps that help you apply slow fingering the right way. Remember, this is not a rigid formula, but a flexible guide you can adapt based on your partner's comfort and feedback. Step 1. Set the stage before touch begins. Great intimacy doesn't start with your hands. It starts with the environment and mindset. Make sure the setting is relaxed, private, and free of distractions. Dim lights, soft music, or even just a comfortable space can make her feel safe and at ease. From a medical perspective, safety and relaxation activate the parasympathetic nervous system, which is essential for arousal. If she feels rushed or on guard, her body will resist opening up. Step 2. Begin with outer touch. Never dive straight in. Start by exploring her outer body, her thighs, hips, stomach, or even just gentle strokes along her skin. These areas are rich in sensory nerves that build anticipation. As blood flow increases and she begins to relax, lightly trace your fingers around, not directly on the vulva. This is where patience is key. Teasing without entering builds psychological excitement and physiological readiness. Step 3. Introduce gentle vulva stimulation. Once she's clearly responding, move your focus to the vulva. Use soft, slow strokes on the outer labia before gradually working toward the inner labia. Think of it as mapping the terrain. Light circular motions or gentle up and down strokes can be highly stimulating without being overwhelming. Keep your touch light at first. You're signaling respect for her pace. Step 4. Engage the clitoral network without overstimulation. The clitoris is powerful, but it's also sensitive. Many men make the mistake of pressing too hard or too fast. Instead, start with indirect stimulation, touching the clitoral hood, or even areas just around it. Use slow circles, side-to-side movements, or even a light tapping motion. Watch her breathing and listen for subtle cues to see what she enjoys most. If she arches closer or moans softly, you're on the right track. If she pulls away or stiffens, lighten up. Step 5. Gradual internal exploration. Once she's fully aroused, you can begin gentle penetration with one finger. Don't thrust in and out right away. Instead, explore the front wall of the vagina where the G-spot region lies. Use a slow come-hither motion while maintaining clitoral stimulation with your thumb or other hand. This dual stimulation, internal and external, is often what creates the most intense arousal. Remember, slow pressure beats fast thrusting every time. Step 6. Build rhythm and layer touch. Once you've established a pace she enjoys, gradually increase pressure, rhythm, or variety. For example, alternate between circling the clitoris, gentle penetration, and massaging the vaginal walls. Layering touch keeps the experience dynamic without overwhelming her nervous system. Think of it like building a song. Intro, verses, build up, and finally, the chorus. Each layer adds depth and anticipation. Step 7. Stay present and responsive. This is the most important step. Don't get so caught up in technique that you forget the person in front of you. Make eye contact, whisper, or simply breathe and sync with her. Ask for feedback if it feels natural, slower, or faster. Do you like that? Presence is what transforms fingering from a mechanical act into an intimate experience. Step 8. Ease into the afterglow. When she reaches climax, or even if she doesn't, don't stop abruptly. Continue with slow, soothing strokes as she comes down. This reassures her nervous system, prolongs the afterglow, and shows that your goal wasn't just the orgasm, but her overall pleasure and comfort. Slow fingering, when done with these steps, is not about tricks. It's about trust, awareness, and patience. When you follow this process, you're not just stimulating her body. You're creating an intimate, memorable experience that deepens your connection on every level. Bigger picture beyond technique. At this point, you've probably realized something important. Fingering or any form of physical intimacy isn't just about hands, techniques, or even the Y.O.N.I steps. The bigger picture is that intimacy is a language, and slow touch is one of the most powerful dialects in that language. When you go slow, you're saying something deeper than, "I want you." You're saying, "I respect you. I value your comfort, and I want to experience this with you, not just get something from you." That message is what transforms a physical act into a moment of emotional connection. Many couples struggle not because they lack attraction, but because they lose sight of this bigger picture. They focus on outcomes, orgasm, performance, speed, rather than the journey. But the truth is, women remember how you make them feel far more than any specific move you did. Slow fingering done with presence and patience sends a powerful message. You're not here to perform, you're here to connect. From a urologist perspective, this matters for health too. When intimacy becomes safe, enjoyable, and emotionally fulfilling, it reduces stress hormones, strengthens trust, and even supports long-term sexual wellness. Pleasure is more than just a moment. It's part of overall health and quality of life. So the bigger picture isn't about learning a dozen secret tricks. It's about shifting your mindset. Respect, consent, communication, connection. That's what the Y.O.N.I approach is all about. So here's the takeaway. Slow is powerful, not because it's flashy, but because it honors her body's natural rhythm. If you can master patience, observation, and presence, you'll unlock a level of intimacy most men never reach. And remember, this video is just one part of a larger conversation about sexual health and intimacy. If you found this helpful, make sure you subscribe to my channel where I share doctor-backed insights on relationships, sexual wellness, and attraction. Topics you'll never get from random internet myths. Tap that subscribe button right now and join me for more science-based practical advice that helps you not just in the bedroom, but in building stronger, healthier relationships. Because at the end of the day, intimacy isn't about tricks. It's about connection. And connection, when nurtured, changes